Hi, everybody. How's it going? It's Mr. Williams, favorite history teacher. I'm going to be reading about the Progressive Era and some of imperialism. It's kind of split up that way in this. Pay attention and answer the questions as they pop up. So here we go. All right. So obviously, in the word progressivism, all right, anytime you add an ism or ivism, all right, ism mostly, it's a thing. It's a noun. It's a process. It can be anything. All right. Conservatism. Right? The idea is that you're conserving on a grand scheme. This is progressivism. So you are progressing. You're trying to show growth everywhere. All right. So let me use my little marker here. Let's get going. Consumerism. Right around this time, honestly, I would actually fully maximize the screen as well. I'm not going to just because you can on your end, and then we can kind of again, you can zoom in or you can just show it full screen and we'll go from there. I want to see everything at one time. So consumerism, I want to look at the vocab word first. It says increasing consumption, focus on consumption and purchasing. So consumerism, you guys are all consumers. All right, what you're doing essentially is you're increasing the things that you buy and eat and use. And all that means is more money for companies. All right. Now, here's the thing that you are consuming. You are constantly buying things. Okay. My wife is constantly on Amazon. She's constantly at Target, always buying something. And that's okay. It's fine. It's good for the economy. All right. But it's not really good for my personal bank account. It's okay, though. We'll talk about it. So, consumerism, the idea of people buying things, and leisure time, which is obviously like vacation, chilling, relaxing. All right. Industrialization led to long hours. We know that in the factories, but unlike farmers, factory workers and the wealthy often had days off. Okay, in the late 1800s, as leisure time became more common, so did activities such as shopping in department stores, which encouraged consumerism via advertisements. So today we kind of look at it and we go, all right, well, why did you buy what you bought? Well, you bought it because you saw a commercial on it, or you saw an ad on it via, social media, whatever you're on, Instagram, doesn't matter. So you see things and you go, you know what, I kind of like that. I like that product, or I need that. I need that in my life. Again, amusement parks like Coney Island in New York, vaudeville, which was like circuses and it was like certain, plays and all on those lines. This is all adding to now people are making more money. And where is that money going to go to? All right. What are we going to do with it? It's a question mark, by the way. Where are we going? What are we going to use it with? We have expendable cash in the late 1800s. Again, late 1800s, early 1900s. All right. We have this expendable cash that we're like, what can we use it for? All right. And this is kind of leading up to what's going to be called the Roaring Twenties. Again, this is leading up to that. We're going to have World War I beforehand, and we're not really involved in World War I as a country, the United States, too much, just towards the end in 1917. But literally, we're leading to this, America's doing well. Industry's doing well. People are making more money. This is a good thing. What do we do with our money from that point on? Okay? All right, so if you got that, I'm scrolling down. All right, so next. All right, other things. Again, I forgot. The World's Fair, consumers, merchants, and innovations became a thing. Baseball becomes the nation's pastime. This idea that, we as people like to go to sports now, live sports. I'll be honest with you, I miss going to live sports. Due to COVID, I'm kind of stuck at home watching sports via my house. All right, so other spectator sports, including baseball, college football, obviously became a big thing. The NFL is not a thing at this point. And it won't be until roughly the 1940s. All right, 1940s. After World War II, we start to see two different leagues, and then they merge into one called the National Football League, as well as participatory sports such as tennis, golf, cycling. People are starting to pick up hobbies that are more fun to do. All right, new kinds of American music start to be happening. All right, ragtime music, early jazz music. We'll look at some stuff like that coming up pretty soon. All right, so with people doing well, you always have people who are doing really, really well. And those people we would kind of consider to be a little corrupt at times, right? Stealing, taking money from people in illegal means. All right, so political parties, used illegal means like bribes and extortion. Right? Extortion, if you don't know what that means, it's you have something that, or you know something about somebody, and you're using it against them to get money, okay, or to get something, property, whatever. So this happens a lot in political parties where somebody's running for office, but they have something scandal-wise that would maybe hold them from getting elected again, reelected. And so essentially, what happens is that people go, "Well, listen, I know you have I know you have some scandal. I know exactly what it is, and I have proof, and I'm going to show everybody, unless you pay me, blah, 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 blah." Okay? And legal means, such as convincing the poor to vote certain ways by promising them jobs. So this is still something, I wouldn't say it's done today as much, but it's still something that is a concern. People call it voter fraud sometimes, for this idea that you're going to go in, you're going to sway people to vote a certain way based on their economic status. It happens sometimes. But that's a little bit more legal. Again, legal means obviously it's okay, it's legal. It's not, maybe not morally correct, but it's okay. It's not breaking the law. And then illegal is bribes and extortion. All right, to control elections. These organizations were called political machines. All right, and their leaders were called political bosses. All right, like the political boss. And the idea is that these people are bad. They are swaying voters. They are trying to convince people to do certain things against their own personal gain, maybe sometimes. All right, the most famous political machine was known as New York's Democratic Tammany Hall. All right, and it was led by William McGeer Boss Tweed. All right, we'll just call him Tweed if you want. Who is said to have stolen millions and millions of dollars away from the city. All right, so political machines, again, swaying people, taking money, extorting people. All right, that's kind of the point here. A lot of times this happens where you have people who are, trying to take advantage of a system. All right, progressive movement. So the progressive movement is quite the opposite of this. We have corruption in the late 1800s, early 1900s, heading into the 1900s, basically, where we have the progressive movement really trying to kick off. President Garfield, all right, not the cat, all right, who took office in 1881. Sorry, 1881? Yes, 1881. Sorry, hard for me to say that. All right, saw that reform was needed, but was assassinated before my gosh, I could. I'm having a tough time reading that. He could implement reforms. Some people known as socialists believe that the government should take complete ownership. Again, socialist is the idea that the government should take complete ownership of the corrupt businesses, all right, make them pay taxes, really regulate them. All right. Others, known as progressives, thought that the government should regulate, again, same concept, but not control, all right, just not as much. They aim to democratize, right, as in make it a little bit more legit, more voting, all right, American society. And many of these reforms, all right, were to give people a greater say in government. The progressive movement in the 1890s aimed to fix social and economic problems, particularly in cities. All right, so far, again, a good thing, the progressive movement, all right, trying to help people out. All right, wants to help all people out. Rich, poor, doesn't matter. Mostly the poor, though. Mostly the people who don't have much of a say in their own particular government. All right, so let's keep going here. I'm going to change the color. Let's go a little blue, maybe. A little blue. Wait a minute. It's blue text. Let's go red. All right, so we got a little red, white, and blue up here. Muckrakers. All right, muckrakers. Think about it. If somebody is raking muck, all right, it's the idea that they are raking mud or raking dirty nastiness. And what they're doing is they're pulling away the nastiness and exposing this nastiness to everybody. So what a muckraker is a journalist usually, right? Journalists known as muckrakers who exposed muck, right? Exposed the muck. Again, journalists, right? Think about it. Writing stories, taking pictures, exposing the muck of society, the dirt, the nastiness. Famous muckrakers like Ida Tarbell, who exposed oil trusts, right, in her book, The History of Standard Oil Company, right, Rockefeller, right, this technically who the oil company is all about. Upton Sinclair, who wrote his book in the meatpacking industry called The Jungle, all right, very important there. Meatpacking industry, very dirty, very nasty, not regulated at all at one point. Today, yes, still a little iffy sometimes. All right, Jacob Riis, who displayed tenement life, okay, to live in nasty slums, all right, and what we call How the Other Half Lives in 1889. Another muckraker, Lincoln Stevens, exposed political machines. So Tammany Hill being one of them. So you have, again, muckrakers, they are exposing the dirt. Expose. All right, the idea is that they want to expose the nastiness of society. And they're doing this because the more they expose, the more exposure things get, the more publicity it gets. One, their books will sell, their stories will sell, but also it helps people understand, all right, well, this is the bad stuff that's happening in society. We need to vote a different way. We need to find something else out. We need to fix this. And that's the whole point of the progressive era, is to fix. All right, we're trying to fix what is the issue. Okay, sorry, sideways I there. We're trying to fix what is going on in society. All right, last thing here, reformers and their projects. All right, many of the most active progressives in the country were middle-class women who were well-educated but were expected to stop working when they got married. Okay, so again, I don't know about you, I live with a woman. When I tell her what to do, she usually says, you can't tell me what to do. I am my own person. And needless to say, she's right. I mean, again, she's her own person. She should be able to do whatever she wants. Again, many progressives in the country were usually middle-class women who were educated, as in, like, knew exactly what was going on in society, were able to read, able to, do all these things. And the one thing they couldn't do was vote. They were not allowed to vote yet. Right? What we call the 19th Amendment had not been passed yet. Okay, and the reason why the 19th Amendment had been passed is because of these women. Okay, women like Lucretia Mott, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony. They're going to be big names that you're going to hear about very soon. And again, families tended to be smaller. Right, by the turn of the century, so the 1900s, all right, it said families had tended to be smaller, right, not as large, not these 8, 9 children families, more like 2, 3, and technology like the vacuum cleaner helped with the housework. So now women feel as if they have more things to do, all right, with their time, and they're thinking, all right, well, now that I have everything good, I have a good house, I've kept it clean, I've done these things, I'm not allowed to work, men aren't letting me work in society, I'm going to figure out a way to fix society for everybody. And so one of the things they try to do is, again, the progressive era, all right, whatever they think is something that needs to be fixed. The temperance movement, banning of alcohol, child labor, whatever, they're looking to fix that. And, of course, the 19th Amendment, all right, which is coming up soon. All right, so let's see. I'm going to stop right here, and then we'll go into the second video after this. All right, so try your best to answer the questions that pop up.